Hey, Darksiders. So I did actually get to the movie theaters to check out A Quiet Place, and I was really looking forward to seeing this film, which I will tell you is a little bit odd for me because I don't really do horror movies. It's not that I'm scared of them, it's just that I'm not really interested in the genre. But this movie is much more than what you might think. So let's get into it. Of course, there will be no spoilers. This movie is set in a dystopian future where it follows this family, right? It follows John Krasinski's family, and it's set in a setting where there are these creatures that are attracted by sound. So the society has really built up this whole system to be able to operate without making as much sound as possible. Because when you do like this, those things are upon you and they are vicious. So that's the first thing that really impresses you about this movie, how they've gone through painstaking steps to make sure that they can live their life day in and day out without making as little sound as possible. And this movie is tense from beginning to end, because as you're watching this film, at every turn you have that in your mind. What will happen if these folks make a sound? And you do get to see what happens if these folks make a sound, and in some cases it is really quite heartbreaking. So the story for this was really intense, and what's interesting about this film, you guys, is there is a very little dialogue. I would say really probably about 90% of this film has zero dialogue, which is crazy because the film is so enjoyable in spite of that. They do such a good job of building this whole world without sound that you're just so intrigued to see how they operate. You're just waiting to see what happens if someone steps on that squeaky footboard or someone rustles those leaves or something like that. It's so tense that literally you really are just, you're grabbing onto your seat. So when you hear people talk about this movie like that, it's not an exaggeration. But despite all of that, you know what, you guys, I wouldn't really classify this as a horror. Sure, there are monsters in this, and sure, the monsters are woven into the core of this story, but really, this is a family film. It's odd to say, but it is. This is a family film. This is a film about a family and how they really deal with tragedy. And from that aspect, it's a totally different type of horror movie. As a matter of fact, that is the powerful element in this that actually makes this so interesting, because I do believe that you could have this same movie and take out the family element and it would not nearly be as good as it is. So that's really what makes this movie strong. Now, there's a lot of things that are interesting to talk about in this movie. Really, the fact that there essentially are really only 4 cast members in this whole movie. And Krasinski does such a good job of connecting you to them. Man, listen, 5 minutes in, you feel for them. 5 minutes in, you don't want to see anything happen to anyone in this family. But you always have that feeling that at any point something could happen. So the way that this story is built is really, really gripping, really heart-wrenching. And I will tell you, man, there were some scenes where I was just like, no, man, no. I'm not even gonna lie. I'm not gonna front. There were some scenes in this movie that was really, really heart-wrenching. But what was interesting about this, even though it's classified as a horror, and I can say this without spoiling it, it's not very bloody, but you will be afraid. You will be afraid. It does have that effect on you, but it's so well crafted as a movie that it really is a must-see, and people are talking about maybe a possible Oscar nod. I don't know. All I can tell you is that I've not seen anything like this in a long, long time, and for a horror movie with a story that's so well constructed, you have to be impressed by it. Even if you don't like horror movies, you can get into A Quiet Place because there's so much of it to enjoy. So I don't want to say much more than that, you guys. As you can tell, I really enjoyed this. And again, this is coming from somebody that does not do horror movies. I don't do them. But this was really good. And John Krasinski, I always have a hard time pronouncing his name, did a stellar job, because when you see this movie, if you're someone like myself that watches a lot of movies, you would be surprised that this would come from a director that doesn't have experience doing work like this. It's that well crafted. It is a very, very good movie. And I certainly hope that we see more stuff from him behind the camera. He also co-wrote the script for this. I can't remember everybody that stars in this. Of course, you know that John Krasinski stars in this, Emily Blunt, who is his wife, and they have amazing chemistry on screen. Oh, there is a girl in this that's actually deaf, and Krasinski actually said when he was making the film that he wanted to have a girl in it that was actually deaf. And I want to say, man, I can't remember her last name. I want to say it's Simmons or something close to that. If you know what her last name is, you can put it in the comments. But she does a very, very good job in this film as well. You know, I can't praise it enough. This was a surprise movie for me, and definitely one of the best movies I have seen all this year. So guys, we are getting ready for a number of things coming out. We're certainly getting ready for Infinity Wars, and that second trailer dropped. I'm not even going to review it, man. I'm done. Like, I want to say I'm not looking at anything else about it. I'm not looking at any theories, anything like that. I kind of want to go in blind because so many people are saying so many different things, and honestly, none of us really know. That I'm just trying to stay away from everything. So I'm excited. Listen, we got that coming out. We got Into the Badlands coming back for season 3 this month. I'm telling you, man, listen to me. If you're not watching this show, you do not know what you're missing. The best show on AMC. I don't even know, like, I'm like a crusader for the show. It's that good. From the action in it to the story, it is crazy interesting. So I'm telling you, if you're into that, and if you're not, I give this challenge all the time. What I want you to do is I want you to look at the first 10 minutes of season 1, episode 1, and I promise you will be hooked and you will be joining a discussion about this show. It's on AMC. So anyway, you guys, if you are new here, hopefully you enjoyed this, a little quick talk about A Quiet Place. And I was going to get into some movie news, but I think I'm going to save that for another video. But guys, if you like this, make sure you hit that sub button and join the conversation and give it a thumbs up. It does help the channel. I do appreciate it. Guys, thank you so much. And with that, I will see you on the next video. I did not forget, I did say that I was going to talk about my thoughts about the New Gods in DC and whether or not they should do that movie. That video is coming out. I'm kind of still working on it. I'm busy, you guys. You guys know I'm getting married soon. It's a lot getting ready for a wedding. A lot. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.